Hi everybody.
Hello.
Yes, so this is Izzy.
Yes.
And I'm Lola Black. And you're welcome to my world. So today we're going to be talking about Lagos and the crazy things that happen in Lagos. If you live in Lagos, you will know that it's really, really stressful. Yeah, it's crazy living here. Yes. And I just had to talk about it because of something that happened to me, which I'll share later, not now. So I mean, traffic.
Yeah. I know Lagos is a very crazy place, and because of the crazy nature of Lagos, some people have decided to travel out of this place. They live here, they don't want to stay. They dash out every now and then and run back, maybe when they're missing home. Yes, and well, basically that's how it is. That's how we've come to see Lagos to be, and we are coping or living the life. Lagos is a beautiful place. So let's not paint this town back. Okay, it's a very wonderful place to live in, though. But
I agree.
There are a lot of crazy things that happen here. Like the story you told me today, the story is really, really out of this world. I've never heard that kind of a story. Something like that happening in a bus. We'll talk about that later.
Let them wait for it. Okay, so if you live in Lagos, Mona, and you do not have a car, I cannot categorically tell you that your life is beautiful.
It's weird.
Yes, and aside having a car, if you now have a car, traffic is a problem. Aside traffic, the hike in petrol price now, it's crazy. So some people are actually abandoning their private vehicles and going with bikes and public transport. I mean that's the situation we are right now, just to try to manage to cope. And a lot of people actually do not know how to manage with the stress of living here, and people just live in frustration, really.
Yeah, I know friends. I have a lot of friends that have visited Lagos once in a while, and anytime they come around, they be like, "It's easy. How do you survive in this town? How do you get to stay in Lagos and live in Lagos? This place is really tough and crazy." I feel there are some selected people that are very, they are selected. People that live in Lagos, they must be selected. There are people that are able to cope in Lagos.
We had a family wedding this weekend, and we had to go from, I live in Ogun State towards Badagry, and then we had to go to Festac. We spent, coming back from Festac from the wedding, we spent about, say, 3.5 hours, and the driving was rough. And I was wondering, I'm like, if you live on the islands and you're driving, like, don't tell me that you're a very good driver, because if you have not driven around Okoko, trust me, that's how you put your driving to test.
Yes, that's how you get to know you can drive.
It's crazy driving along that route.
Yes,
it's really crazy.
Exactly.
So,
it's a different world altogether.
That's it. The traffic, especially, is a major problem. And I know that there are cities where they experience way more traffic. But I mean, in Lagos, I think it's just special. And you know what's more? Is that nothing actually causes it. Like,
that's actually
you get to the end of the traffic and then you wonder, why was there traffic here
in the first place?
There is no possible explanation. And then
yeah, I wasn't born in Lagos. I migrated, one of those that migrated into Lagos, and when I came in here, that was one of the first things that struck me. Most times when I'm in a bus, started juggling buses, and I'm like suspecting, okay, maybe there's something happening in front. Maybe there's an accident. Maybe there's a pothole. Maybe there are a lot of things. Exactly. Maybe that's why the traffic. But there's no traffic. There's nothing in front. We get to that part and everybody gets to cross. And I'm like, okay, what was causing the traffic in the first place? I think one of the other things that causes it is impatience inside the drivers. Drivers, most of them don't want to slow down. Nobody wants to wait for the other to cross. It's very typical with Lagos drivers. They don't want to wait for the other person to, pass first before I pass.
Especially those commercial buses.
If you're not careful and you're driving your private car, they are very well going to scratch your car.
So now, living in Lagos, how do you manage stress? How do you cope?
Okay, like I said before, when you come into Lagos, stress will be very tough for you. But if you have the fortitude, you have the strength, and I don't think it's everybody that can. Because like as I said before, there's some people that have visited or have come to try to stay. They stay for a month, two, some stay for as long as 6 months and they disappear. They're tired, they are not able to cope anymore. But for me, I think maybe I have the resilience, I have the strength, Okay.
You need to have special energy.
All that in a day, you get to
I don't have it though. I don't have that kind of grace. Anyways, let me tell you something interesting that happened to me today. I decided to take the public bus. I really had to go out today. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is because I'm not one to keep quiet about stuff like this. I just think that it's high time we voice out all of these things that we experienced. I was on a bus, and then this man, I was sitting by the window, and then this man was sitting, is he adjacent?
Yeah, next to you, or
just
behind you.
Right behind me.
Okay.
So the man was seated, and then his hands were like this on the chair, on the long bench. And then I felt something touching me, like some 10 minutes into the journey. I was going from towards Badagry to Maryland. And then I turned and I looked at him like, and then he took his face off, like, you know how when you catch someone and then you know he's aware, he took his face away. And then I'm like, I didn't want to believe what was going on. I would have thought, okay, it was a mistake. And then some moments later, I felt his hand again on me. And I'm like, I looked at him for way longer this time, like, what could be wrong with you? I fast forward again. And then I just thought to myself, well, you know what, I have to address this. And I turned to look at him, and he was forming on looking. And I tapped him, and I'm like, excuse me, sir. Excuse me. I tried to be as low as possible because I didn't want to get people's attention. But unfortunately for him, the girl sitting right behind me was already, you know, listening, yes. And then I'm like, if I feel your hand on my skin again, I will embarrass you. This man on his own raised his voice and started saying, what do you mean by that? Blah, blah, blah. And then I realized his mouth was actually oozing of alcohol. And I'm like, oh, this man is even drunk, Seth. And you know, he was just ranting that, see the way I'm even dressed. This was what I wore. Nothing revealing.
Was he very young? Was he a very young person? Or was an elderly person?
He looks, say, close to 40.
Oh, okay.
So and then he was like, if he wanted to toast me, that he would have done it nicely, and that what am I even feeling like that? Do I think I'm pretty? He was just saying all sorts of things, and even said, see the way I'm dressed like a prostitute. And it was so funny because people in the bus were saying all sorts. Some were laughing, some were gisting about it. And then the women in the bus surprisingly were winking at me to keep quiet.
You can imagine.
I'm like, excuse me, is this what you teach your daughters? To keep quiet when they are being molested in a bus?
That's the problem we are having.
And they said it's because we're in a public bus, we're in a public transport, many things happen. One of the women actually told me that I should let it go, that it has actually happened to her. And the question is, what did you do? And I'm saying this because I know that a lot of people have experienced this. And nobody is saying anything about it. Is it okay for us to keep quiet? This guy sitting next to me says, I should just let it go, that him too, he faces different hurdles when he takes the public transport. And I'm like, but you are a man. And I said, if I were your sister, do you know your reaction to this thing right here, right now would be different? He said, yes, he agrees. And then I said, if my brother were to be sitting next to me, like you are right now, there'll be war in this house.
Of course there would be.
Because my brother will not take... Your slaps would have... I mean, everybody would have gone crazy. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
The men were quiet. Is this what we're teaching people to do? No, I mean, you would expect that the men should defend the women, should try to protect the women. Nobody is trying to protect nobody. So if you do not stand up for yourself, nobody is standing up for you. Then they said I was speaking too much English.
Yeah, of course. I'm sure that would have come.
So it felt like I was the only one thinking differently on the bus. I didn't know what to do really.
You know,
so if you have experienced this before, what did you do? How did you handle it?
Yeah. It's a problem we're facing here in Nigeria. You know, in this part of the world mostly, but Nigeria's case is a typical one. Something like this happened to you, you couldn't raise your voice, or you were not allowed to raise your voice, or you did raise your voice, and people were thinking it was wrong for you to do that. It's a shame because it has affected everything in the economy of Nigeria, from education to you being able to talk about little issues like if you're supposed to have lighting, you know, broke network and everything. every single thing in Nigeria has been affected with this not being able to speak out. Not being able to speak out. Even when you want to speak out, when you know you were supposed to speak out the particular issue, so if you resolve, people just look at you and be like, are you going to be the only one talking? Because nobody's going to back you up. And that's where the problem is. Let's not take it lightly. Yeah. It's not something to be taken lightly. It's a critical case. What do you expect? A pretty girl like you in the box. What do you expect?
So it was nice having this chat with you today.
Yeah, it was nice
really nice. Thanks for watching. Please, if you have any similar experiences, please do not hesitate to share. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time, I'm Lila Black. Bye bye.